In this video, I'm going to be talking about 3 Italian classic films that you need to see before you die. I'm Robert Bellissimo with Coffee with Aliens at the Movies, which is a YouTube film educational channel dedicated to film reviews, director reviews, actor reviews, weekly live YouTube talks on various directors, actors, and writers, as well as much more. We'll also look at streaming reviews, Criterion Channel, Canopy, Netflix, you name it, we talk about it. So today I want to talk about 3 Italian classic films you need to see before you die. I'm going to start off with 8½, directed by Federico Fellini, starring Marcello Mastroianni. I'm Italian, so I can pronounce that closely, as close as correct as well as I can. But this is an Italian classic. I'm sure people are not surprised I'd start with that if you know the film well enough. But it's a brilliant movie, and it's really a character study of Guido, played by Marcello Mastroianni, who is a filmmaker, a famous filmmaker who makes very light, commercial-based films that are not very honest or emotional, that are very plot-driven and meant to be fun and entertaining. And he's going to make this sci-fi film which has autobiographical aspects to it from his own life, and he's forced to face himself in order to portray himself on screen. And he becomes scared, he becomes hardened, and he can't face himself because he doesn't like what he sees. And like anyone else, I don't know about you, but when one has to look at themselves, that can be hard. So what happens is he starts to get flashbacks from his life, dancing with a prostitute as a child on a beach. He gets in trouble for it from a strict Catholic school he's in. He gets, terribly reprimanded. He's also speaking to his parents who are deceased. He has these dreams where he's talking to them. He cheats on his wife. He can't communicate very well with her. He also can't communicate very well with his mistress, and he's just purely sexually attracted to her. And he has a lot of guilt, and he's really having a midlife crisis. He's about in his 40s, and these are the things he's up against, and he can't make casting decisions as a result. He can't make any decisions about the cinematography or the producer or anything, the writing of the script. He can't face it, and it's a symbol for the fact that he can't face himself. So he wants to make films that are honest, but he can't be honest with himself. So how can he portray that on the screen? So it's like director's block, and a lot of filmmakers were highly inspired by it because of the challenges of making a film, and that's what the film is about, but also finding yourself in that film. And directors like Scorsese and Coppola and Terry Gilliam often cite this as one of the most accurate films about making a movie that's ever existed. And I love it, not only for the central character's struggles to find himself, but also I love what Fellini did with his use of dreams. I mean, I've never seen better dream sequences in a movie than this. Everything from talking to his parents who were deceased, to a scene where he's with all the women in his life that he's had affairs with, and it's sort of a ugly and odd scene where he's basically controlling them, and even takes out a whip and whips one of them who's disobedient towards him. So it's sort of him looking at women in this way, which is hard to take, that he's sort of controlling or misogynistic in that sense. But on the flip side, it's a lot of guilt. He has a lot of guilt. Being a Catholic, it goes with the territory. So he has this crisis, and he doesn't know what to do. And what ends up happening in the end is that he learns to accept himself. He learns to accept life and his flaws and the things that he's done that he's not proud of, and that can be the only way he can then communicate that perhaps into a story. And Fellini, being brilliant with his fascination for circus and circus performers, has this circus-like dance at the end where everyone circles around in this parade, this celebratory parade that I adore. And like I said, it's an outstanding work. It's cited as one of the best Italian films by many directors, like I had mentioned, who highly admire this movie. and it's a film that you have to check out before you die, for sure, for sure, or sooner than that. And after that, I'd like to talk about I Knew Her Well, which I've only seen recently, and which is about a young woman who has a hard time knowing who she is. Now, at first, I didn't really think I was enjoying it because she seemed vacant and unemotional and not connected to anything, and I was having a hard time. The director was not giving you the psychology of this woman, and so I was sort of like, why am I interested in this person who seems totally not involved with herself or with anything around her? But then I thought, well, this is what's interesting about her. The director is challenging me and asking me questions about her. Why is she like this? Okay, so what do we find out? She's from this farm town in Italy. She goes back home, and they are not treating her very well. They blame her for not being there for the family because now she's left. The reason she's left is because she wants to be an actor, so she moves to Rome, but really she wants to be famous. So that tells you that she's superficial, that she just wants to be adored, perhaps things that are lacking from her life. People were not empathetic towards her, sensitive towards her, and she's very disconnected. I don't think she knows how to love yet. Then again, she's very young. So at the same time, she's having these affairs with different men, and she gets this commercial, which she didn't realize is a way to humiliate the product, which then humiliates her. It's like a comedy joke commercial, and she sees it in the cinema she works at, where she's an usher at a cinema, and she sees it, and she runs out and cries. But it's a very hollow look at this young woman, and it shows you know, why people get attracted sometimes to show business for the wrong reasons. Attention is a big thing. Love is a big thing. And, you know, when you are not given those things when you're young, that seems attractive to you, so you can fill that void. And once she realizes she can't get that, things go downhill from her. But it's a brilliant film. I highly recommend that. It's on the Criterion Channel, so if you haven't seen it, check it out. After that, last up, one of my favorite Italian films from Luchino Visconti, Rocco and His Brothers. Now, this is with Alain Delon. It was an early Delon film, and Visconti I love. It's one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. The Leopard, Death in Venice. Fantastic film. This is one of his best, if not his best, in my opinion. But I can relate to it in the sense because I'm from an Italian family, and going from a small southern town to Milan, well, after there's a family of 5, the father dies, and they go to look for more work opportunities, and things start to not go so well once they're going into a big city. They are developing, they're growing, they're finding things out about themselves, and some of those things turn out to be ugly. And one of the brothers begins a romantic relationship with this woman who's a prostitute, and he wants the relationship to go further, and she rejects him. She then meets Rocco, played by Alain Delon, and she falls in love with him, and she wants a relationship with him. So once the other brother finds this out, it gets ugly, and it's hard to watch actually what the brother does to Rocco and her, and you know, but Delon being Italian and strong family values, I know, because my family's from the South, so we're all in this together. We have to sacrifice for each other. We have to take care of each other, forget about my own happiness. I'll do anything to keep this family unit alive. And he tells the woman, you have to be with my brother. My brother loves you. I can't do this to my brother. So she's with him, and of course, if you force a relationship, that goes downhill. And it gets ugly again. It gets rough. And this is a rough guy. Simone is his name, and he starts to steal. And again, Delon, as Rocco, wants to get him out of it, wants to help him, even when he's doing these terrible, awful things. So turning a blind eye to his, you know, flaws and evilness really is but it's a brilliant film, and I highly recommend it. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our channel in the description box below. I'm Robert Bellissimo, and we will see you again soon. Take care.